In the cold silence of deep space, the alien war council gathered their armored forms hulking and scarred from 1,000 battles. Their eyes glowing with the arrogance of conquerors, they called themselves the Krell, the deadliest race in the galaxy. No world had ever withstood their advance. No species had ever spoken back to them and lived at the center of their command ship. A massive obsidian dome floated above a pit of molten plasma, where defeated enemies were cast as offerings to their war gods. The council debated their next target, a small blue planet on the edge of known space. Its defenses were laughable. Its technology, primitive, yet something about it made them uneasy. A junior officer stepped forward, his voice trembling slightly. "We have intercepted a transmission from the planet Earth. It is not a surrender, but a challenge." The High Warlord Kroth slammed his clawed fist onto the obsidian table, sending cracks through the ancient stone play. He growled, static hissed. Then, a clear young voice cut through the chamber. "Calm, steady, and utterly human, we are not your enemies, but if you come to Earth with weapons drawn, you will learn why we do not fear you." The council erupted in laughter, their deep, guttural roars shaking the very walls of the ship. "Another primitive species boasting of courage," they sneered. Kroth silenced them with a raised hand. "Who speaks?" The junior officer checked his datapad. "It is Lily Carter, a human female age 17 designation student. No military rank. No combat record." More laughter followed. "A child," they scoffed. But Kroth felt a chill crawl up his armored spine. He had seen species rise and fall. He had watched empires burn and crumble, but never had a child dared to address the Krell. "War Council, like an equal, send the vanguard," he ordered. "We will crush this world and make an example of this Lily Carter." 3 days later, the Krell fleet emerged from warp above Earth, 100 warships dark and jagged like shards of broken nightmares. Their weapons charged, their boarding pods ready. Their soldiers eager for slaughter, but Earth was quiet. No fleets, no orbital defenses, no frantic transmissions. Only silence, then a single shuttle detached from the nearest space station. Small silver, and unarmed, it drifted toward the Krell command ship like a leaf on a breeze. Kroth watched from his throne, his eyes narrowed. "Bring it aboard," he commanded. The shuttle doors opened, and out stepped Lily Carter, alone, wearing a simple blue jumpsuit. Her dark hair tied back, her hands empty. The Krell guards surrounded her, their weapons humming with lethal energy. "You are either very brave or very stupid." Kroth said, his voice like grinding stone. Lily looked up at him unflinching. "I am neither, sir. I am just here to talk. The warlord laughed. "You think words will stop the Krell? No," she said softly, but understanding might. She reached into her pocket and the guards tensed, but she only pulled out a small data chip. "This is a full archive of human history. Every war, every peace, every mistake, every triumph." She said, "We do not hide who we are. We have fought each other for centuries, but we have also built hospitals, schools, art, music. We have walked on our moon and sent messages to the stars, hoping someone would listen." Kroth snatched the chip and inserted it into his console. Images flooded the chamber, scenes of human life. Joy, grief, courage, sacrifice. He saw children playing in rain cities rising from rubble. Doctors working through the night, soldiers laying down their arms to help enemies. "Why show us this?" he demanded. "Because you think being the deadliest means you win," she said. "But Earth has survived, not because we are the strongest, but because we choose to care, even when it hurts, even when it costs us everything." The chamber fell silent. Then a new alert blared across the ship. Sensors detected a massive energy surge from Earth. Not weapons, not shields, but something else. Kroth turned to his tactical officer report. The officer stared at his screen in disbelief. "They have activated every satellite, every power grid, every communication array on the planet, and they are broadcasting something." What a song, a single human song played across all frequencies, clear and strong. Lily smiled at his called Imagine. The Krell had no word for music like this. No concept of harmony, built not for battle but for hope. Kroth felt something shift inside him, something ancient and forgotten. "You could destroy us," she said quietly, "but you would never understand why we are not afraid." For the first time in his life, the warlord hesitated. He looked at the images again, at the faces of humans helping strangers, sharing food. "Rebuilding after disaster. You call yourselves the deadliest race," she said, but on Earth we believe the true measure of a species is not how many it can kill, but how many it can save. Croth turned to his generals, his voice low order. The fleet to stand down. What one of them hissed. But warlord, that is not a request, he said. The fleet powered down its weapons. The boarding pods retracted. Lily did not smile. She simply nodded. You will stay on this ship, he said, as our guest until we understand your world better. She agreed. Weeks passed and Lily walked the halls of the Krell ship not as a prisoner but as a teacher. She showed them how to plant seeds, how to draw, how to laugh without showing teeth in aggression. The Krell learned that humans cried not only from pain, but from beauty. They learned that a handshake could mean trust, that silence could mean respect, that weakness could be strength. On evening, Croth found Lily on the observation deck watching Earth from orbit. You changed us, he said. No, she replied. You were always capable of change. You just needed someone to show you the way. He looked at the blue planet glowing softly in the void. What do you call your world again? Earth, she said. He nodded. Earth, and for the first time the name did not sound small or weak. It sounded like a promise. Back on the council chamber, the obsidian dome no longer held molten plasma. Instead, it held a single blooming flower grown from a seed Lily had given them. The Krell no longer called themselves the deadliest race. They called themselves students, and Lily Carter, the girl with no rank, no weapon, no army, became the first human ambassador to the stars. Not because she fought, but because she believed. The galaxy would never be the same. And it all began with one voice, one choice, one moment of courage wrapped in kindness. For below on Earth, people looked up at the sky and saw the Krell ship still there. But now their lights pulsed gently like stars learning to blink in her room aboard the alien vessel. Lily opened a small notebook and wrote, Today I taught them how to say thank you. Tomorrow I will teach them how to dream. And somewhere in the vast dark between worlds, a new story was being written. Not in blood, but in hope. Not in conquest, but in connection. The humans had not won a war. They had offered a hand, and the universe had finally taken it. Months passed aboard the Krell command ship, once a vessel of war, now slowly becoming something new. Lily Carter walked its corridors with quiet confidence, no longer watched as a prisoner but followed with curious eyes by Krell younglings who mimicked her gestures and tried to copy the shape of her smile. Croth had changed too. His once rigid posture softened, his voice less thunder, more thought. He spent hours in the observation deck watching Earth rotate below like a living jewel, blue-green and white wrapped in clouds. He asked Lily questions, simple ones at first. What is rain? Why do humans hug? What is a birthday? She answered each with patience, showing him videos of children blowing out candles, of farmers harvesting wheat, of dancers moving to music he could not hear but somehow felt. The other warlords grumbled. At first this was not the way of the Krell. They said, we do not learn from prey. But Croth silenced them, not with force but with words. You saw what Earth did. They did not fire a single shot. Yet they made us stop. They made us think. That is power greater than any weapons. Lowly the fleet changed too. Ships that once bristled with cannons now carried Krell scholars and artists sent by their home worlds to study this strange species called human. Meanwhile on Earth, people watched the skies with hope, not fear. News channels showed daily updates, not of invasion but of exchange. Earth scientists sent up data packets on medicine, agriculture, physics, and in return received alien knowledge on energy fusion, stellar navigation, and bioengineering. Lily became a bridge, but not everyone on Earth trusted the peace. In a hidden bunker beneath the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, a group of military leaders met in secret. They called themselves the Iron Corps, and they believed Lily had been compromised. She is just a girl, they argued. She cannot speak for all of humanity. What if this is a trick? A slow conquest? General Hale, a grizzled veteran with scars from old wars, slammed his fist on the table. We cannot rely on kindness to save us. We need to strike first while they are distracted. But who would lead such an attack? Earth had no space fleet. Not like the Krell. Then a name was whispered. Maya Rodriguez Mayas. Father had been an aerospace engineer killed in the early panic when the Krell first appeared. She had grown up angry, sharp, brilliant, and alone. She had spent years building something in secret, a prototype warship powered by stolen alien tech and human ingenuity. She called it the Phoenix. When General Hale found her, She was in a desert hangar covered in grease and star charts, her eyes burning with purpose. "You want to fight the Krell?" she said. "I can do that, but not for you. For my father, for everyone." They, made afraid, Hale agreed but warned her, "Do not kill Lily Carter. She is still one of us." Maya's jaw tightened. "I will decide that when I see her." Above the planet, the Krell ship received an unexpected signal. Not from Earth Command, but from a lone vessel. Approaching fast and silent, Kroth summoned Lily to the bridge, a human ship. He said, "It carries weapons unlike anything we have seen on Earth before." Lily studied the screen, her heart sinking. She recognized the design notes her father had left behind. "Notes Maya must have found. That is Maya Rodriguez. She said she lost her father when your fleet first arrived. She thinks violence is the only answer. Then she is like we were," Kroth said quietly. Lily turned to him. "You have to let me talk to her. It is dangerous." "So was walking into your ship alone," she replied. Kroth nodded. "Order a shuttle prepared." As Lily's shuttle drifted toward the Phoenix, Maya powered up her weapons, targeting the Krell command ship. Lily opened a channel. "Maya, this is Lily, please. Stand down." A cold voice answered. "You betrayed us, Lily. You are living with monsters. They are not monsters, Maya. They are learning just like we did, learning to destroy us more efficiently. No, they canceled their invasion. They are sharing knowledge. They even planted a garden on their warship." "A garden," Maya laughed. "While we hid in bunkers, you were teaching aliens how to grow flowers. I was teaching them why life is worth more than wars." Islands stretched between them, stars blinking like held breaths. "Then," Maya whispered, "my father believed in peace too, right up until the sky turned black with their ships." "I know," Lily said softly. "And I wish he was here to see what they have become." For a moment, Maya hesitated. Her finger hovered over the firing control, then alarms blared across both ships. A new fleet dropped out of warp. Not Krell, not human-jagged black vessels covered in bone like plating. Their hulls pulsing with sickly green light. The Vorath, Kroth hissed. The true devourers, the Vorath, were legend even. Among the Krell, a race that did not conquer but consumed, they stripped planets of all life, turned oceans to dust and melted cities into slag. They left nothing behind, not even bones. The Krell had fought them once and lost half their empire. Now they had found Earth. Lily's shuttle rocked as the Vorath opened fire. Not at the Krell, but at the Phoenix. Maya was closer. Easier prey. Maya's ship spun out of control shields. Failing, Lily did not think. She steered her tiny shuttle between the Phoenix and the next blast. The impact threw her against the console, blood trickling from her temple. Kroth roared from the command ship. Full defense mode. Protect the human vessels. The Krell fleet surged forward. Not as conquerors, but as shields their armor. Taking the hits meant for Earth. Maya stared at her screen. Stunned, the Krell were dying to protect her. "Why?" she whispered. "Because Lily showed them what we are worth," Kroth answered over open comms in the Phoenix. Maya made a choice. She rerouted all power to her main cannon, not to attack but to link with the Krell network, sharing human targeting algorithms with alien fire control. Together they struck. The Vorath flagship exploded in a storm of fire and silence. When it was over, the sky was quiet again. Maya docked her ship with the Krell command vessel. She walked the halls tense and wary until she saw Lily bandaged but alive. "You could have run," she said. "You stayed. Someone had to show them. We are more than fear." Lily replied, Maya's eyes filled with tears. "I thought I was protecting Earth." "You were," she said. "But protection is not just about weapons. Sometimes it is about trust." Kroth approached the two girls standing side by side, human and human different, yet the same. "You both showed us courage," he said. In different ways, he turned to Maya. "Your ship, the Phoenix, it is strong. It was built to fight, but it can also carry hope," he said. "Will you help us build a joint defense, not to attack, but to guard this peace?" Maya looked at Lily, then at the stars. "Yes," she said. In the weeks that followed, the Krell and humans began building something new. Not an alliance of treaties, but of shared purpose. Schools opened on both worlds. Krell children learned human songs. Human engineers studied Krell healing tech. Lily and Maya worked together, teaching the galaxy that strength and kindness were not opposites but partners. And high above Earth, the obsidian dome on the Krell ship now held two flowers. One from Lily, one from Maya, their petals reaching for the same Light the Vorith would return, that was certain. But next time the galaxy would not face them alone. It would face them together, not as the deadliest race but as friends. The peace held, but peace is never still. It breathes, it grows, it stumbles and rises again on Earth and aboard the Krell ships. Life moved in rhythms no one had expected. Classrooms filled with Krell younglings, learning to write human names with careful claws while human children practiced Krell honor chants in schoolyards once used for drill. Slyly Carter and Maya Rodriguez became symbols not of war, but of something harder to name. Trust built, not in a day but in small choices, a shared meal, a late-night talk, a hand offered in silence. Yet far beyond the solar system, in the cold gulfs between stars, the Vorith stirred. They had lost a flagship, but not their hunger. They gathered their broken fleets and whispered a new plan, not to attack, but to divide. They sent no ships, only signals, false messages crafted with stolen human and Krell codes to Earth. They sent word that the Krell were secretly building weapons in the rings of Saturn. To the Krell High Council they sent proof that humans were reverse engineering Vorath tech to use against them. Doubt crept in like frost on a window. On Earth, protests grew. Some demanded the Krell leave, others called for Maya to ready the Phoenix again. Aboard the Krell command ship, old warlords muttered that Lily and Maya were spies softening their people for betrayal. Croth felt the tension like a wire pulled too tight. He called Lily to the observation deck. "Your people no longer trust us," he said, "and yours no longer trust me," she replied. Then, what do we do? Find the truth together. Meanwhile, in a quiet lab beneath Geneva, a young scientist named Claire Bennett noticed something strange. The fake message sent to Earth contained a data echo, a tiny flaw only someone who knew both human and alien signal structures could spot. She traced it not to the Krell, not to Earth, but to a dead zone near Proxima Centauri, a place no ship had visited in centuries. She sent her findings to Lily through a secure channel marked Urgent. Lily showed it to Croth. The Vorith are not attacking, they are poisoning us from the inside. Croth's eyes glowed with cold fury. Then we go to Proxima, but not with weapons, Lily said with truth. They prepared a small vessel, not a warship but a scout ship painted white with both human and Krell symbols on its hull. Maya insisted on coming. "I built this ship to fight, but maybe it is time it learned to carry something else." Claire joined them too, her hands shaking but her voice steady. "I may not know how to fly a ship, but I know how to find a lie." The journey took 6 days through silent space past asteroids and dead comets. The 3 women worked in shifts, talking not just about signals, but about dreams. Claire wanted to open a school for alien and human children. Maya dreamed of flying beyond the galaxy just to see what was there. Lily simply wanted a world where no child had to grow up afraid of the sky. When they reached the dead zone, they found it not empty but hiding a Vorith relay station. Disguised as a derelict freighter, its core pulsing with stolen data. Maya wanted to blast it. "Wait," Lily said. She sent a simple message in both human and Krell: "Open this channel, or we broadcast everything we have to every world in range." Silence. Then, a voice thin and sharp answered, "You cannot prove anything. We do not need to." Claire said, stepping forward. "We already shared your signal flaw with 100 neutral worlds. They know it is you." The relay station powered down, but before they could secure it, alarms blared. Vorath ships dropped from warp. Not many, just 3 fast and silent hunters. They had been waiting. The white scout ship had no weapons, but Maya smiled. "I did not build this ship to fight, but I did not leave it defenseless." She activated a pulse, not a weapon, but a mirror. It bounced the Vorith's own signals back at them, amplified and scrambled. Their systems froze for 17 seconds. It was enough. Croth's fleet arrived not from behind, but from above, having tracked the women's course in secret. This time there was no grand battle. The Vorith ships fled broken and confused. Back on Earth, the false messages stopped. The protests faded, and a new message spread. Not from governments, but from people. We choose to believe. In the months that followed, the joint Human-Krell Council was formed not in a war room, but in a garden grown on a space station, halfway between Mars and Jupiter. Lily stood at its center, not as a hero, but as a listener. Maya's Phoenix became a rescue ship saving stranded miners on icy moons. Claire opened her school, its first class filled with Krell hatchlings and human toddlers sharing blocks and stories. Croth stepped down as warlord not because he was weak, but because he had learned something stronger than command. He became a teacher, showing young Krell how to ask before they strike. One evening, the three women sat on the station's outer rim, watching the stars. "Do you think it will last?" Maya asked. Lily looked at her hands, then at the sky. "Peace is not a thing you keep," she said. "It is a thing you build every day," Claire added, "and we are not building it alone far away on 1,000-world species that once hid from the Krell, now sent messages not of fear but of curiosity. Bird-like race from Sirius asked for human music. A crystal people from Vega shared their light poems. Even old enemies began to speak. The galaxy was learning a new language, and it sounded like hope. On Earth, children played under open skies, no longer flinching at shadows, and Krell Nursery's young ones drew pictures of blue planets with smiling suns. And in the quiet hum of the station, Lily opened her notebook and wrote, "Today. No one died because someone chose to listen. That was enough. That was everything. The end." Years passed and the galaxy changed, not with a bang but with 1,000 quiet choices. Schools bloomed on moons once used for weapons. Factories, songs crossed star systems carried not by warships, but by traders and teachers and travelers. The joint Human Krell Council grew to include dozens of species, each adding their voice to the chorus of peace. Lily Carter no longer wore the simple blue jumpsuit she had arrived in now. Her clothes carried threads from many worlds, a Krell honor sash, a Syrian feather, a Vega crystal pendant. Yet she remained the same girl who once walked into a warship with empty hands and a full heart. She lived on the orbital station Harmony Ring, built by human engineers and Krell architects. Its gardens fed by recycled starlight, its halls filled with laughter in many tongues, but peace, like all living things, needs care. On a quiet morning, a distress call came not from a distant world but from Earth itself. A remote research outpost in the Arctic had gone silent. Maya's voice crackled over the comms. "I am already on my way." Lily joined her aboard the Phoenix, now painted with symbols of rescue. Not war, its hull scarred but proud. Claire stayed behind to coordinate from Harmony Ring, her calm voice guiding them through ice storms and magnetic flares. When they arrived, the outpost was buried under snow, its dome cracked, its power gone. Inside, they found no bodies, no signs of struggle. Only a single data pad left on a table, blinking with a message. It was from a scientist named Nora Ellis. "We found something under the ice," she had written. "It is not alien, it is older than humans, older than Krell. It sleeps, and we woke it." The last line was shaky. "Do not let it speak." Maya frowned. "What does that mean?" Lily touched the screen. Gently, "It means we are not alone in a way we never expected." They followed the outpost's tunnel deep into the glacier walls, glowing with strange blue veins pulsing like slow heartbeats. At the bottom they found it. Not a machine, not a creature, but a sphere smooth and black, reflecting nothing yet somehow watching. As they approached it, hummed a sound that was not sound but thought. Words formed in their minds, not in English or Krell but in something deeper. "You are young," it said, "too young to carry the weight of stars." "Who are you?" Lily asked. "We were the first," the voice replied. "The ones who taught the galaxy to dream. Then we saw what dreams could become: weapons, lies, empires built on broken hope. So we slept, and now you are awake," Maya said, hand on her sidearm. "Because you called us, the sphere answered your unity. Your choice to trust it rang through the void like a bell." We heard. Lily stepped closer. "Why show yourself now?" "To warn you." The voice grew softer. "The Vorith are not the end, they are only the beginning. Others will come, those who fear peace more than war, those who will burn the galaxy to keep it simple. Then we will be ready," Lily said. "You do not understand." The sphere pulsed brighter. "The greatest danger is not outside, it is inside. When you begin to believe your way is the only way, when you forget that peace must include even those who hate it." Maya looked at Lily. "We have made mistakes." "Yes," Lily said, "but we learned." The sphere fell silent. Then slowly it began to fade. "Remember this," it whispered before it vanished. "The universe does not need the strongest, it needs the kindest." They returned to the surface, snow falling gently around them. Back on Harmony Ring, they shared the encounter with Croth and Claire and the Council. Some wanted to hunt for more spheres, others feared what they might find. But Lily stood before them all and said, "We do not need to find them. They will find us when we are ready." Instead, they turned their focus inward. They created the Oath of Many Voices, a promise signed by every member world not to impose their beliefs on others, not to call their peace the only peace. It was not perfect. There were still arguments, still misunderstandings, still nights when Lily lay awake wondering if they were building something real or just a beautiful dream. But then a message would come: a child on a desert planet, learning human Mathakrel elder, sharing stories with Syrian poets, a former Vorath scout now working as a medic on a refugee moon, and she would remember, the sphere's words: kindness is the true strength. One day a new ship arrived at Harmony Ring, not armed, not hidden but open, its hull marked with no flag, only a single word in 1,000 languages: welcome. Its pilot was young, barely older than Lily had been when she first faced Crother. Name was Eva Mills, and she came from a world that had spent centuries hiding from the galaxy. Too afraid to speak, too proud to ask for help. "We heard about you," she said, voice trembling. "We heard you. Listen." Lily took her hand, not as a leader but as a friend. "Then come in," she said. "We have been waiting." That night the station held a feast, food from 100 worlds, music from 1,000 stars. Maya danced with a Krell engineer. Claire taught Eva how to plant seeds in zero gravity. Kroth sat quietly watching it all, his old war scars now framed by soft light. Lily stood at the window looking out at the endless dark. It was no longer empty. It was full of voices. And for the first time in the history of the galaxy, they were not shouting. They were singing together. The end. The song of the galaxy grew louder, not in volume but in depth. More voices joined, not because they were forced, but because they were heard. Lily Carter, now in her late 20s, still walked the halls of Harmony Ring, not as a ruler but as a listener. Her hair longer, her eyes wiser, but her smile unchanged. Yet peace is never finished. It is always being tested, on a quiet cycle near the edge of known space. A small farming colony called Elysium 9 sent a message not of joy, but of fear. Something was in their sky, not ships, not weapons, but silence. Their comms went dead. Their crops withered overnight. Their children stopped speaking. The council debated sending scouts, but Lily said no. This is not an attack. It is a cry for help, she asked Eva Mills to go with her. Eva, now trained in xenolinguistics and calm under pressure. Maya offered the Phoenix, but Lily shook her head. This time, we go in a seed ship, one that carries life, not defense. They landed on Elysium 9 under a pale orange sun, the air thin but breathable, the fields once golden now gray and brittle. The people hid in their homes, windows, shuttered doors locked. Lily walked alone to the center of the village and sat on the dusty ground. She did not speak. She did not demand. She simply waited. Hours passed. Then a child peeked from a doorway. Lily smiled and held out a small plant grown on Harmony Ring, its leaves shimmering with soft blue light. The child stepped forward, took it and ran. By nightfall, the whole village gathered around a fire, not a signal fire, but a cooking fire. The first in weeks, an elder named Rosa told them what happened. A ship came, not like others, smooth and silent. It hovered for 3 days, then left. But after it left, the silence began. The birds stopped singing, the wind felt heavy, the people felt watched. Lily listened, then asked, "Did it harm you?" No, Rosa said, "It just looked." Eva checked her scanner and frowned. "The readings are strange, not mechanical, not biological. It is like the air itself is holding its breath back." On the ship, they studied the data and found something impossible. The silence was not empty. It was full of waiting. Lily remembered the black sphere under the ice. This was not an invasion. It was an invitation. She broadcast a message, not in words but in music, the same song Earth had once sent to the Krell. Imagine. She added to it sounds from Harmony Ring, Krell chants, Syrian wind chimes, Vega light pulses. Then she waited. On the third night the sky opened, not with fire but with light. A being appeared, not solid, not ghostly, but woven from starlight and memory. It had no mouth, but its voice filled their minds. "You answered," it said. "Who are you?" Lily asked. "We are the Watchers, the ones who guard the quiet places. We test not with war but with silence, to see if a world can hold still long enough to hear itself. And what do you want to know? If you are ready for what?" To join the deep chorus, the song that holds the universe together. Eva whispered, "What happens if we are not ready?" "Then you remain alone," the Watcher replied. "But you are not alone. You have already reached across the dark." Lily looked at Rosa, who held the blue plant like a promise. "We are ready," she said, "not because we are perfect, but because we try." The watcher bowed, its form dissolving into the wind. The next morning the birds sang again, the crops began to green, the children laughed, on the way back to harmony. "Ring," Eva asked Lily. "Do you think every world will be tested like this?" Maybe Lily said. Or maybe the test is just learning to care when no one is watching. When they returned, the council was in chaos. A new threat had emerged, not from outside but from within. A group calling themselves the Pure Path claimed that too much mixing of species was weakening the peace. They wanted humans to only speak with humans, Krell with Krell. No shared schools, no joint ships, no mixed families. Their leader was a man named Daniel Ford. Once a teacher, now a firebrand. His words spread like wildfire through old networks. "We are losing ourselves," he preached in crowded plazas on Earth and Krell outposts alike. "Kindness is fine, but not at the cost of who we are." Many listened. "Fear is louder than hope." Lily said quietly to Maya, "Then we make hope." "Louder." Maya replied. They did. Not ban Daniel, they did not arrest him. Instead, Lily invited him to Harmony Ring. He came expecting a trap but found a table. On it sat food from his childhood: earth, bread, Krell spice, tea, Syrian fruits. It, she said. He did for 3 days. They talked not to change his mind, but to understand it. The spoke of loss of a daughter who chose to live on a Krell world and never returned. "I am not against peace," he said finally. "I am afraid of forgetting." "You will not forget." Lily said, "Your daughter carries your heart wherever she goes, and she carries Krell ways too. That does not erase you, it expands you." On the 4th day, Daniel stood before the council, not as an enemy, but as a father. "I was wrong," he said. "Peace is not about giving up who you are. It is about making room for others without losing yourself." His words spread too, but softer, slower, deeper. In the following months, the pure path faded, not by force, but by choice. People saw that difference did not mean danger, that love could speak many languages. One evening, Lily found Eva on the observation deck staring at a new star chart. "What is it?" Eva asked. "A signal," she said, "faint but clear from a place we have never reached." Lily smiled. "Then it is time, not to send weapons, not to send warnings, but to send a message. Hello, we are here and we are listening." The end.